Hey, friends. I am so happy to be back home, be back in Oklahoma. We had a great couple of weeks out of state in Colorado, but it's always good to get home, right? The summer always kind of feels like the Wild West because you never know what's going to happen. We of course had our first year as empty nesters this past year, and with both kids in college, and of course they both came home for the summer. So it's been a little different for the past 8 weeks. Some weeks we just kind of never know what's going to happen in our schedule at home. And since I'm working at home, right, it kind of makes it all the more interesting. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm happy to be back here sharing a new series called Back to Balance, because here in Oklahoma in the Midwest, we are heading back to school. It's tax-free shopping weekend this upcoming weekend. So, of course, that always heralds the beginning of the school year, and all the school supplies are out. And I love the beginning of school. I'm a teacher in my past life, current teacher as a coach, right? So I love the back to school time, but it's a little different now that both kids are in college. But the rhythm is still comforting. I still find the academic year to be, and of course, my husband's a professor. So, the academic year is comforting in a way, right? That the summer can be a little bit wild. So, today, whether you're live or catching the replay, say hello down below. Let me know where you are tuning in from. I am very glad that you are here. I'm Rebecca, personal chef, kitchen confidence coach, and mentor for women who want to feed their families with joy and purpose. And today's chat is especially for those of us, who have recently found our homes a little bit quieter. Not quite yet. We're still a couple weeks out, but got to be prepared, right? But your mental load still full. So that still means that the meal planning, the kitchen, all of that, that is still something that needs to be organized, and so there's no overwhelm, right? So if you're in that in between season, if you've got kids in college, if your house isn't quite as loud, if your rhythms are shifting, I see you. Drop a hello down below. Let me know in the comments where again you're tuning in from, and also let me know how many are you usually cooking for now. Two, sometimes just yourself. So I've had the past several weeks of planning meals for the whole family again, and in a couple weeks, one kid will go off to college, and in a couple weeks after that, and the other one will leave for the fall quarter. So it'll just be back down to my husband and I. And I don't know about you, but we can fall into that takeout trap. DoorDash, I'm looking at you, because it's just the two of us. And, it harkens back to those days when, before we had kids, we had a few years together before we had children, married. And, we kind of fall back into those routines, which is exciting, and all of that. But at the same time, not so great now that we're 50 and above, not so great for the waistline. So today we're going to talk about how to reset our kitchens, how to reset our minds with just 3 simple steps in this change of seasons, right? These are tools that I use in my own home, and I've taught them to women who are learning how to feed themselves just as well as they feed or fed their children. Because even if your calendar isn't as packed with carpools, sports events, activities, all kinds of things, the emotional weight of transition is very real. Drop a 100% down below if you agree. And so is the question, is it even worth it to cook anymore? Because I know I definitely felt that. And as a personal chef, it's kind of weird. Is it even worth it to cook anymore at home? And I have a spoiler for you. Spoiler alert. Yes, it definitely is. And I'm going to show you how to make it feel good again. All righty. So we've got 3 simple steps, as I said. Step number 1, set a weekly anchor meal. All right. An anchor meal. One of the fastest ways to bring peace back to your kitchen is to set a weekly anchor meal. This is a meal that you don't have to think about, shop for, or stress over. It is built in nourishment. So you're taking advantage of things that you usually or always have on hand, right? So in our house, Whether it's with the kids home on their college breaks or just my husband and I, Sunday night tends to be our reconnection meal. Right? It gives structure to the week, it reminds me, it reminds us that our table still matters, even if it's just the two of us. So whether we're having just soup and bread, whether we're having a simple pasta meal, or even just a entree salad, right, with chicken or steak or salmon, pick something that you actually want to cook and that you want to eat. All right. So when our kids moved into their dorms, I realized very quickly that I was still meal prepping like they were coming home. So the first week, probably for the first month, let's be real, I made full meals. And my husband and I would pick at them. But then there'd still be at least half left over, right? Because ingredients naturally come in servings of four. So I was still cooking for, 4, 6, even 8 servings, depending on what the meal was. So I had to learn to scale down, but not give up. The table still matters, even for two. That's what I want you to hear. So drop down below. How many are you cooking for this year on a regular basis? All right, the second step, create a 10-minute, even 5-minute kitchen reset ritual. I know my mom always had the reset ritual at night. It usually involved washing the dishes and letting them air dry. She wasn't crazy, but washing the dishes or loading the dishwasher, wiping the counter down, that sort of thing, right? So you want to pick a reset ritual that works for you. So you need to reset your space. A 10-minute kitchen reset can shift your energy fast. Wipe down the counters, prep a pitcher of lemon water or cold brew for the next day, right? We're still in the 100 degrees here. I think we are going to get a few days of a break, but still hot, right? Clear out that fridge, science experiment. I'm much better now that we're home more at clearing out those containers that don't get labeled, right? So this isn't about perfection. It's about giving yourself permission to re-enter the kitchen with peace instead of pressure. The kitchen is the heartbeat of the home, I believe, and your energy in that kitchen matters. So even if you're not cooking a full meal, keeping your space sacred changes how you show up. So, what's your current reset ritual right now that your rhythm is going to shift? Why don't you drop it down below? Drop it in the chat. I want to hear what's working for you. I know it works for me, but let's hear what's working for you and share some ideas. All right. And step number 3, right? So, the first step was we're going to set a weekly anchor meal. And usually that's all it takes. It sets the tone, right? It's kind of like setting the tone of your day by getting up and having the hour to yourself in the morning and sort of doing your reset rituals for the morning, right? So this is the same idea. Your weekly anchor meal setting the stage for the rest of your kitchen experience. All right, then step 2, create a kitchen reset ritual. And step 3, I'm going to use FAST as an acronym for Simple Meal Wins. All right. This is a food strategy. And my savored meal method that's included in my real life approach to meal planning freebie, drop real life down below and I'll get that sent over to you. We're going to use the acronym FAST. FAST, FASTF, for flavor foundations, A for assembly style meals, S for stretchable ingredients, and T for timed planning. Okay, so this isn't rigid meal prep. Now there are lots of reasons to implement some rigid meal prep, right? And that's usually when we have specific health and wellness goals that we're trying to reach, sometimes under the supervision of a fitness or healthcare provider, right? But so this is a real life approach that's going to work, whether you're cooking for 5, whether you're cooking for just yourself or just you and your spouse. So you build a flavor base, right? Roasted garlic, pesto, lemon vinaigrette, just for examples. Then you want to mix and match with components that you prep ahead. Now, I always recommend I don't cook in home like I do on cook dates for clients, right? I don't take that solid 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, depending on how many meals I'm cooking, and do it all at once and put it in the fridge because I enjoy the practice of getting into the kitchen every evening. It's kind of like my quiet time, my sacred space. It's creative, it's relaxing, but that's just me. So you may like to prep ahead all at once, but I like to component prep. So if I'm, the first night that I'm making chicken, I'll maybe double the chicken. That way I have chicken in a couple of days for something else, right? But I'm not going to prep all the ingredients at the same time, if that makes sense. I'm going to prep them for maximum time efficiency as I'm using them for the first time during the week. Okay. So easy things to prep ahead, right? Rotisserie chicken, roasted vegetables, even a good sauce can be made ahead and or doubled and then freeze half, right? And pull it out again later. So, this way, your meals feel fresh and flexible. You're not starting from scratch every single night, and you're building momentum with what you already have, right? Already more peaceful, less overwhelm, and definitely the mental fatigue is has lessened. Yes. So 1 week, for example, I roasted a batch of sweet potatoes, cooked a pot of quinoa. Now I know quinoa is not everybody's thing, but it is a complete protein, great ancient grain, but you could do wild rice or brown rice instead. And I love a sesame dressing, especially great for those Asian chicken salads. So we had a mix of grain bowls, salad toppers, and lunch plates for days without ever feeling like eating leftovers. All right. So drop a drop a yes down below if you're or a fast. Drop a fast down below if you're going to give this a try this week, right? So fast. You're going to build your flavor foundations. You're going to use assembly style meals, stretchable ingredients, and timed planning. Remember, with the stretchable ingredients, if you're prepping ahead, always make sure that you're storing those properly as well, so they do last you for a few days. All right, so here's the thing. You can feel good in your kitchen again, even in this new season, even with a new rhythm, even if you're only cooking for just one or two, and maybe the kids come home on the weekends. I've got a free gift to help you do exactly that, as I mentioned. It's called My Real Life Approach to Mealtime Success, and it includes the FAST method to help you create anchor meals, kitchen rhythms, and nourishing habits that will work for real life. If you want it, just drop the word fast down below and I'm going to send that straight to your inbox. All right, friends, you are still worthy of a delicious, peaceful meal, and the table is still sacred. And this new rhythm, it's not the end. It is just a new beginning, and I'm cheering you on every step of the way. If this message resonated with you, take a friend who might need it too, or better yet, send me a DM and tell me how your kitchen has changed or will change lately. I want to hear your story and cheer you on. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you next week.